Warning! Graphic pest control video ahead. Do not watch if you might be offended. If, however, you really like watching pest control videos, then hello again and welcome to the Squirrel Hunter channel. Please continue and watch us as we control pest populations with silenced air rifles here in the UK. If you have any questions, can you please check the description below first to see if it's already been answered and for some useful links. Thank you. In this video, it's Bro out after squirrels at the same location from the end of last year. He'll be using his Air Arms S410 .22 caliber with a Whitetail Classic scope on top, launching his favourite Power Pal pellets. Here he is at the location. It's on the side of a big hill. I think Bro's just filming this to give you an idea of what our permission looks like. Large woodland. I've walked up this track before now and startled a fallow buck sleeping about 20 yards off the track. And he stood up and stared at me, and I stared at him. And I carried on walking. Never had a camera out at that point. Rather annoying, really. Fair made my day, even though I blanked, which we do get quite a few of. It's not always a successful day out. The pressure we put the squirrels on tends to keep the numbers down. You do know about it if you've walked up that hill, especially carrying all the gear we carry. But we have got a permanent hide, which does make it a bit easier. It's over there in the darkness, not too far up off the track. Quite difficult to see in the half light. Very often get there first thing. Camera's not making a very good job of picking it up. It's at the base of a large tree and looking at our feeder. Bro's already in the hide, taking his setup shot, and just saw the back end of a squirrel disappearing around a tree. I'm not sure if it's come in and stole a peanut and run off. Bro's sat there waiting for it to come back out again. They sometimes do that. So he sits patiently and listens to birds twittering away, waiting for it to show itself again. It's probably around the back of that tree, I would have guessed. And Bro's hoping it's going to come out for another peanut and sit still for him. He's fidgeting around in the hide, bodging his camera stand. Bit of a sigh there as he realises it's not coming back out at all. So the camera goes off. And he has to put it back on again, not long after. I do believe that's probably the same squirrel. It's come out and sat there feeding. Hasn't messed about this time. It's almost like it knows it's being filmed. Bro's got the camera on it. Now he's got his scope cam on. He's going to pick it up in it and take the shot if it remains nice and still. There it is. The pellet's gone straight through its head, hit the bark of the tree behind. So there's plenty of power in these things. And as per usual, a few nervous kicks on the floor. Quite a lot of leaves around because of the time of year. You can see this other squirrel's coming in across the floor, right at the base of the feeder. It's probably examining the one that's dropped. They don't normally do that for too long by habit. If you check them out, bit of a sniff, might attack them, do various things. But ultimately they go for a peanut, or wheat for that matter, depending on the feeder that's being used. And Bro's trying to film this one. Sometimes a bit difficult in the hide. This hide just sat on a bit of an angle, so he's got to lean forward a bit to reach the camera. It's there somewhere. That tree in the middle. It's a bit of a pain really. Could do with moving the front of the hide around to give us a better view. You see its head poking out now. Still no shot on for Bro. The camera's a bit like mine to the left of his shooting position. He's right-handed as the same as I am. And the squirrel sat directly behind that tree now. See the tail poke out. The food is in view though. Just got to get it to go up on top. Or wait for it even. Got no control over it. The trap has been laid. And Bro's just going to have to wait to spring it. You sometimes get messed about like this. I think the nicer the weather, the more they get to mess about. So he's sat nice and still there. If that tree wasn't in the way, you could probably take him straight off the top of that. Bit of movement. I think Bro's using the camera to see what's happening. Sometimes a bit difficult from the hide. Very often zoom in and look at the camera screen. Absolutely nothing he can do about this. I could have sped it up. You can suffer along with Bro. This is more like it. Bro's getting ready. He's anticipating a squirrel going for a peanut. We typically sit in the hides for about 4 to 5 hours. An awful lot of nothing going on a lot of the time. When something does go on, i.e. the squirrel turns up, you have to be ready. Bro's centering his camera up just to get it in shot before he tries to pick it up in the scope cam. And there it is, sat on the edge of the feeder. Looks like it's on alert. And that'll take a shot right there. Save messing about, going for the peanut. So sit that still. That's all you want. After all that messing about, I'm sure Bro was pleased to get that one on the deck. Slim pickings today. It's beginning of November. About the 6th, I think it was. 2015. You can see a lot of leaves on the ground. Still a few more to drop off. Quite a severe hill. You very often see them queuing up virtually, and there's a lot of them around to get to the feeder in the morning. Dotted along up over the hill. I do think a few of them commute quite some distance to get to the feeder, which makes it a very efficient and effective way to get them out of the woodland. There's quite a lot of light being let in now. Bit of a breeze forming. The Bro's sat there for a few hours. Not much is happening, so he's given up for the day. Don't always get big bags. Probably give a false impression when we show you the big days out we get. Always a good move. Give him a little poke with a stick. When we're knocking out big numbers out of these woods, we get these days where there's not many left. They do bleed in when there are areas outside that people don't control them on. That's why you have to keep on top of it. Perfectly good placement there, straight into the brain. Never felt a thing. That one's a little bit further forward, still through the brain though. Both got knocked over. I have to accept 2 for today. Take a snapshot with the S410. See the scope cam. Just a camera mounted on a bit of tube on the back of the scope. Nice one there, Bro. We are again, same location. Bro's in the hide. Nice and dark. The rain's falling. There's light rain forecast. The more observant among you will notice there is a squirrel on the feeder. And then for some reason, Bro starts to pan down to his target card. I'm not sure why he's done that. But in his defence, it is difficult to see the screen on these dark mornings sometimes. Sat in the hide. Would have thought the white target card would have given it away, but never mind. I do believe he has spotted that there is a squirrel on the top of that feeder, despite the fact the camera's not looking at it. He's picked his rifle up. He's poked it at the hole. A little beep there as the scope cam goes on. Now we'll be trying to find it in the scope picture on the back of the camcorder. Then get the crosshairs onto its head. And hopefully when it sits still in the correct position to allow for a good headshot, he'll take it and kill it cleanly with a nice shot to the brain. Just like that. You can see it drop past the front of the feeder. Quick reload. This is a scope cam view. Again, not the best picture ever. It is pretty dark. As long as you can see them crosshairs, you can take the shot. The pellet doesn't care how dark it is. I'm guessing now he's had a quick look over the top of his rifle without any scope in the way to see where the squirrel's gone to. Quickly pans down just to check it doesn't need a second shot. That was fine. So one down. Second visitor of the day. The scope cam's on. The rain patches down on the hide. They will come out and feed in the rain. Surprisingly enough, they still have to eat like everybody else. This one's going to play him up a bit by the look of it. Maybe it spotted the one on the floor, didn't like it. Who knows? Here we go. Straight in for a peanut. They don't tend to mess about that much in the rain, as we've found. He's getting on with having his breakfast. Unfortunately for him, or her even, Rose found them in the crosshairs. Knocks it straight off the top of the feed onto the ground. Another solid headshot. Searching on the ground for it now. There it is. Quite normal back leg kicks from a headshot. There's a link in the description to Ted's video explaining why this happens. There we have another one. Bro's trying to get the camera sorted out. On the right hand side of the feeder. Still quite dark. Not sure why he's cocking his rifle. Maybe he's had a bit of target practice in the meantime. Sat on the side of that feeder. I would have thought he would have taken a shot by now. He just sits there. I think Bro might be having a bit of a problem with his rifle. Nope, got the scope cam on. I'm not going to show you this scope cam footage. I can tell you the reason why it's taking so long for him to take a shot is the camera's focusing on that tree to the right and making the image blurry. He can't quite see the target. This is the problem with all of this camera work. It does detract sometimes for the reason why we're here. He can't quite see it to shoot, so he doesn't shoot. And if he'd just pulled the camera off the back, he'd have been alright. What he's tried to do is to line up on it and hopefully get it to come into focus to take the shot. But now it's moved, rather annoyingly. And as this squirrel runs around the tree, not presented a proper shot, it leads me to muse on a few things. Firstly, that tree can't be cut down because it's the owner's crop. And that's why we're here. The squirrels do a lot of damage to them. What we should be doing is either moving that feeder over to the left a bit and or remodelling the hide. It's probably one of our worst hides. Done a long time ago. It's a bit amateurish really, the way it was constructed. We've got a lot better at it since then. I think it's high time we had a remodel. Then again, he would have shot the thing if he hadn't had a camera on. Hey ho. It's not normally a problem. And that squirrel has no idea it was in mortal danger. Let's turn the scope cam off now. As you can see, it magically becomes much lighter. He's had to wait a bit longer now since that squirrel came and went. He spotted movement to the right. A likely looking squirrel. So we squirrel 3 coming in. Let's have a look at the ones on the ground. All pretty normal behaviour. Bro's not bothering to get the rifle yet. Just watching it with the camera. There we go, sat up nicely there. So I'm going to feed on some spilled peanuts by the look of it. And he's picked up the rifle now. No such problem with the camera this time. He's picked it up on the floor. If it's going to sit like that, it's going to get a headshot. Just like that. Doesn't matter where they sit, as long as they sit still, present a good shot. Not much movement on this one. Rather unusually. Usually get at least a back leg kick. So often though, You do get one that doesn't move at all. He spotted another one coming from the right now. See the tip of his moderator poking at the hide. This one's properly galloping in. Squirrel 4. They all seem to have a little random forage. It's almost like he doesn't seem to mind the rain. It's not exactly a deluge though. Has it spotted him? Usually stand up on their back legs for a better look. This one just seems to be intent on foraging its way over. It's almost like it doesn't realise there's free food over there. It's getting closer and closer to the hide. Interesting bit of squirrel behaviour here. They do spend a lot of their time on the ground, far more than a lot of people appreciate. So they do a lot of their foraging. Oh dear, he had a panic attack then. Spotted the one Bro just shot on the floor. I think he might have spotted the other ones now. This might be the cleverest squirrel we've ever come across. I say might be, they're not normally that clever. Load of dead bodies on the floor. We'll have a look. Give them a bit of inspection, sometimes have a bit of a duff. And then they usually go to feed. That's why you don't normally bother to pick them up. Definitely have a good look at the ones on the ground. Looks for a second like it's going to go past the feeder and go up the bank. To see the tip of its tail and giving its sort of position away. Now it's onto the side. It's more like it. It's one advantage of the peanuts being up that high. There we go. It's on the feeder. Not after being messed about. So he's gone straight for the rifle now. That's why we've got the lid opening that way. So hopefully they'll take a peanut and sit there. That's more like it. After all that faffing about. Bro wastes no time. They line it up on it, and then it jumps over to the fence post to eat the peanut. Now he's wondering where it's got to. This is one of the reasons why we prefer wheat over peanuts normally, apart from the fact it's fairly commonly found in pheasant feeders in the woodlands we occupy. They can't walk off with it so easily. Here we go, it's in the second bite of the cherry. Will he sit still long enough? Lines up on him, and head movement, missed. And it still hasn't realised it's been shot at, and it's taken its peanut, it's gone on the post. Is it going to run off with it? Here's a shot. And the pellet misses the head, plucking a bit of fur on the way through. And the squirrel runs off, frightened but otherwise unharmed up the bank, and rather annoyingly for Bro. Not sure what happened there. Crosshairs looked exactly where they should be. He's had a bit of a wait now. Here comes another squirrel. Can't believe this is the same one. It's gone straight to the ground, picking up a few loose peanuts. Hopefully this will go a bit better than the last one did, eh? Quite annoying, isn't it? Does the scope come on this one? Sat up, feeding quite happily amongst a load of corpses. Now it jumps up to the fence. Sits looking straight at Bro. It's more like it. Took a while. But he got on the ground eventually. Should have been a nice straight on headshot, that one. Not much movement. He's happy with that one. Now for a bit of bird spotting. We've chucked a few peanuts in that hopper as well, just in case a squirrel decides to sit there and feed. Trouble is the badgers come and eat everything out of there these days, so we stopped using that one. The fence is only there to keep the deer away. The badgers just smash their way in. The squirrel coming in from behind. Looks like he's going to go straight for a peanut. Nope, gone round the back of the tree. I sometimes get messed about with them. There's his tail sticking out. He's coming back down now. I think the ones on the floor have caught his attention. Just have to wait for him to settle, I suppose. All he can do is sit and wait. See if the camera pointed at the feeder. Seen some more movement. It's down on the floor now, this one. And rather annoyingly, it's exiting to the right. Hopefully it'll be back another day or later. It is irritating when that happens. Spot some more movement. There's plenty in these woods. They normally either come and have a free feed and wander off, or they end up like that one on the floor at the front. Although this one's interested, doesn't seem too jittery. Just going to wait your turn to get a shot on it. There goes the tail flicks. And happy squirrel. Just going to check them all out by the look of it. I'm going to sit behind that tree just to be awkward. Come on, you know where the peanuts are. I much prefer it when they come galloping in and you can see them coming down the hill and they go straight up on the feeder, grab a peanut and sit there. But that doesn't always happen. That's the ideal situation. But again, you have to be patient, a bit like fishing really. If you've got no patience, you either learn it or give it up and do something else. This one's disappeared from view. Up and down the tree they go. Fantastic tree climbers. Which is why feeders are so effective. You draw them to you rather than chase them around the woods. They very often see you come in long before you ever get anywhere near them. It takes a lot of stealth, a lot of skill to hunt around the woods. On this much of a hill, you'd have to be extremely fit to avoid puffing and panting, running up and down it, chasing squirrels. Far easier to draw them to you. Unless of course you enjoy sport hunting them. But we're not here for that. This is pure pest control. This one continues to faff about instead of going up for a peanut. Quite frustrating this. Bro's tracking it. If he gets an opportune moment, he'll take the shot. This could be it. And no. Head movement far too quick. It hadn't settled anyway. The crosshairs were there, if it did. It keeps poking its head out. I'm not sure it's the ones on the ground are causing it to do that. Ro manages to correct the other camera now. If it presents a shot, he'll go for it. Can't quite see now. Just about make the ear out, that's more like it. There we go. And it clips the side of the tree. After all that, ends up with a miss. Squirrel scurried off. Quite frustrating. Dashed up the bank now. Then it comes back in again. Maybe get a second bite of the cherry. Just about make the tail out. Sometimes the advantage of a silenced air rifle. It disappeared around the back now. Will it come back round? That's the question. Bro's looking on, waiting. And nothing. Just about made it run up the bank. It's gone now, completely. He gives up, turns the cameras off. And go and look at the fall he did get. The more observant among you will notice that 2 of these 4 squirrels look like juveniles. This is December, believe it or not. So squirrels that size, I'm guessing would be a second breeding season, possibly. Just means there'll be more squirrels here, require our attention a lot more. There's the S410 with 4 squirrels. Well done, bro. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you.